The search began almost immediately. But as the hours passed, one frightening possibility began to emerge.
The family reported the disappearance, and the case was placed in the hands of the authorities. 1 month after the disappearance, a special police team arrived in Efon Alaye to take over the investigation. Within 48 hours, the detectives reached a disturbing conclusion. This may not have been a kidnapping at all. The child may have been murdered for ritual purposes.
Within days, 3 men connected to the palace were arrested. Among them was the king's own herbalist.
Then came the breakthrough that changed everything. One of the accused men implicated the Alaye himself. The investigation had now reached the royal palace, and the Alaye himself was drawn into the case. The case moved to a formal inquest in Ilesa. Now, witnesses would begin telling investigators what they believed had happened.
The investigation had now reached the witnesses, and what they said would determine whether the allegations could stand.
One witness gave investigators a crucial account. The evidence began pointing directly toward Enoch Falai, the herbalist connected to the Alaye.
The testimony strengthened the case against Falai, but investigators still had to establish how far the connection reached. Falai was no longer the only question. The investigation was beginning to lead back toward the royal household.
With the evidence tightening around his royal household, the investigation now turned directly toward the Alaye.
The inquest led to murder charges, and the case was transferred to the High Court in Akure. 21 witnesses eventually gave evidence. Piece by piece, the prosecution built its case.
But the evidence did not point equally to everyone. Daniel Ojo was acquitted for lack of sufficient evidence.
Falai and Gabriel Olaberinjo were found guilty. But the case was not finished.
The convictions were later examined on appeal. The final judgment upheld the guilt of those found responsible, and the Gapnastas in the history of Efon Alaye.